this is really interesting, Mark. I'm just looking at our media assets there, and the new intro is missing. It somehow got deleted out of my feed, so that's why we're going with the old. But welcome. It is Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern, my favorite time of the week. Hanging out here with my partner, Mark Hunter, who I know has been crazy busy. Just heard you did an awesome podcast with Jeb Blunt. And
Yeah.
anyway, what's on
Yeah.
tap for today?
Well, we've got a lot of stuff planned, and we may have old intros, but we got new material. We got new
Yes,
content.
yes.
We are talking about what makes a top performer, and I got some stuff that I think it could be controversial. We got a great question. We got a great book, and the lightning round. Let me see what are we talking about on the lightning round? I got to find it here. Top 10 ways to coach yourself in sales. So hey, let's jump into it. What makes a top performer?
Well, I think there's a lot of stuff that goes into making a top performer, but I think a top performer, I think probably one of the most important things, and probably the most under talked about, is a top performer is not always top performing, but they ride those lows and do what needs to happen to get back on top. Probably one of the most interesting things I learned from being a banker is that business has highs and lows. You have years where you are rocking it off the chart. You're amazing. You're sort of the darling of your industry. And then you have years where it just isn't so good, right? You really struggle. But top performers stay in the game.
Oh, that's the thing. They are absolutely consistent. They don't deviate. In other words, they have a routine that they stick with it. Something that top performers don't stress over is, oh man, I don't have the best product. I don't have the best customer list. I don't have, so many times I run into people and they say, oh, I could be a top performer if I just had a better territory, if I just had better pricing. No, those are just excuses. Top performers excel regardless of what it is that they're selling, regardless of who their customers are. They make it happen. And it goes right back to what you said. They are absolutely consistent in staying in the game because they know there are peaks and valleys. Yes, even top performers have peaks and valleys, but they stay in the game 100% of the time.
Yeah, I think Mark, really what you're drawing attention to is the fact that they don't make excuses. They just don't, like, I was talking with a sales team just last week, and they were talking about the fact that they don't have a CRM, and as soon as they have a CRM is when they'll start to sell. And I just had to laugh because I was like, you could do a CRM with a piece of paper and a pen. You don't even have to type it up on an Excel spreadsheet. I mean, you can do it the old-fashioned way. And I think that what Bryn Tillman is popping in here and saying is so important. A top performer is someone who cares more about solving problems for their clients than making a commission. 100%. I mean, I think what drives a top performer and makes them stay in the game is that it isn't about them.
That is so true because, again, they're focused on helping the customer. And they know that if they help the customer, they'll get their commissions. But they don't sit there and have commission breath. And this is one of the big challenges that so many salespeople. I want to go back to something else. Oh, if we just had a CRM system, that's that if then game. If we could have this, if we could do this, then I could do that. If then game is an excuse I see far too many salespeople playing. And all it is a giant excuse to keep kicking the can down the road. That's all they're doing, kicking the can down the road. And they're never getting anywhere with it. And it's so valuable that you don't make excuses. You don't sit there and say, oh, I don't have this. Sure, you'd like to have it, but it doesn't matter. You make it happen with what you've got because what does it mean? You own it. You own it. And this also shows up when there's a problem, when there's an order that didn't get shipped, something that didn't happen right. They don't make excuses. They own it. They don't throw others under the bus. They own it. And boy, that demonstrates a huge amount of trust and respect with the customer. And that's how you create deep relationships.
Yeah, I think the other thing that top performers do, and this kind of hit me last week. So we talk about it now and then on the golf on this podcast, but I play a lot of tennis. The problem with me playing tennis is that I didn't learn to play tennis until I was 55 years old. It's been the most humiliating thing I've ever learned to do. To not be good at something when you are 55 and really painfully struggle through it. But now I'm at a point where I play pretty well, and I was playing with a friend of mine who's a better tennis player than I am, and she was complaining about this coach we take lessons from, that he's pushing her to do things differently. And she's like, that's just stupid. I don't need to do it that way. And what struck me was she's done growing and I'm not. And I think top performers are always looking for a better way to do it. I mean, Mark, I know you've had this experience, but you're doing an SKO, you're doing a sales kickoff, and the people in your front row are the top producers. And the people in the back row, or the people who walk out halfway through, are the people who don't who need to be in that room. But top performers are always the people that are like, could it be done better? Could there be another way? What's one more thing that I could learn? I think they're incredibly humble, incredibly hungry for knowledge, and just have no ego in being open to doing it a different way.
And that's so true because they are in a continuous learning motion. And what they do is they park their ego because again, oh, this is the process I've used and they dictate it, they drive it. No, no. They are as flexible as can be. But now that doesn't mean that they chase every shiny object out there. That's a big difference. They don't chase shiny objects, but they are open for ideas. In other words, that they'll read, they'll study, they pay attention to things, and they then test it. And then if it works, then they begin putting it into their process. But they don't sit there and go, all the way in. Let's just go all the way into it and run with it. No, this comes back to something that you were talking about at the beginning: consistency. I get to coach a top performer, absolute top of his game. And he made the comment, he said, my kids think I have a very boring job because I do the same thing every day at the same time. Now stop and think about that. This is a top performer and he crushes it. He's with a Fortune 50 company. And it's amazing. Consistent. Every day at 10 o'clock, he's doing the exact same thing. He travels a fair amount, but when he's in his office at home, it is the exact same thing every day. And that's what his kids see. And he says, you know what though, Mark? That makes me absolutely efficient. And I'm able to get far more work done in any given day than the vast majority of salespeople in the company. I love that.
Yeah. I love what Andy's saying here. Andy, for the win. Top performers listen to your show every week as their learning process. Could not agree more. But Andy, the reason that works is that so many of you chime in with your thoughts and your opinions. Mark, do we have a question this week?
We sure do. It comes from Priya here in Texas. I can't pronounce her last name, so I'm going to let it go. But she says, I've got clients who love me. We golf, we grab dinner, but when a competitor undercuts me on value, I lose the deal anyway. How do you build relationships that actually hold up when the value conversation gets hard? Ooh, what do you think?
So Priya, I think I can relate because I think I was you, and I think so. I'm going to take a guess. I don't have all the information here, Priya, but this is what I'm going to guess: is that what you have is a really, really good relationship in the sense that you play golf, you have dinner, you know their kids' names, you know when their birthday is, but I'm gonna say that you're not really getting up under what is going on with those organizations. There's a great story. Who knows if it's true? But it's a story of Henry Ford and Harvey Firestone. And the legend goes that a reporter asked Henry Ford why they were best friends. And a reporter asked Henry Ford why there were not Firestone tires on Ford automobiles. And the story goes that it's because Henry Ford said that Firestone never asked. And so, as salespeople, I may go to lunch all the time with Mark. Mark and I may be so joined at the hip, but if I'm not showing up at some of those golf, um, games and saying, Mark, let's grab a drink after. I've really had some thoughts about your business and your industry, and you need to go deep. Like, I really question what value you're providing.
Well, this is the whole thing. I think what's happening is you have a social relationship. This customer is enjoying, hey, we get to go to play golf, we do dinner, we do different things. That's great, the social. But I'm going to challenge you, Priya. Do you really understand their business? Do you really understand what their business model is? Do you understand who their best customers are? Do you understand their challenges? Are you bringing insights and information to them? I have a feeling what you're doing is you're just kind of quoting prices, you're just quoting things. And you're right. And what's happening is somebody else is coming along with a little lower price and you're losing the deal because you're not providing value that the customer really needs. See, I see this happen too often. Salespeople think they have these great relationships. No, they're great social relationships. You're right. You know the person's kids' names and all this sort of stuff. You've got to, there are three questions that you have to answer anytime you put a deal across the table to a customer. One, what is their business model and who are their best customers? Two, what are the challenges that they're facing in their business? Three, what is the problem they're trying to solve right now that you're putting an offer on the table to help them with? If you can't answer those three, and not assumptive, but factual, there is no chance you're going to get the deal. And I venture to say, Priya, you have no clue as to the answers of those.
Yeah, I love what Bryn is saying here. Top performers would rather do the right thing than prove they are right. And she backs that up with knowing your client's challenges is more important than knowing their birthday. Bria, here's the really good news for you. And the good news for you is the fact that the only reason that the customer is going the other direction is because they can't really tell the difference between you and your competitor, right? Now, that's data, that's information, that's intel. And the intel says basically not only am I going to take you for a round of golf and I'm going to, take you to dinner now and then and, pay for you to come to some event we've got going on, but I am going to show up and really add value. And I think the question you need to be asking yourself is number one, why would they choose me over the competition? What's their reason? And have you articulated that to them? And what's the reason my customer can't live without me? Like, what is the reason I am providing value at such a lesson? And I've got to tell you, Priya, I ask that question a lot about my clients, especially my coaching clients. And sometimes I don't have an answer to that. And that is great information because I think I need to go back and do some work. Because if I'm not providing it at a level at such a high value, why would they stay with me? Why would they pay that bill? And so I love treating a loss as data and information because what it's telling you is you're not working at the level you could be working at. And I love that information because it makes you go deep and look for more.
Now, I'm going to add to this too. Okay, Priya, if you're losing these deals because somebody comes along with a better price, you're in a really easy position to win. Whoa, what did he just say? Yeah, you're in an easy position to win because you know what this says? Your competitors are probably no more knowledgeable than you are of the customer. So therefore, if you become the knowledgeable and go back and answer those three questions I shared earlier, you get under the skin of the company, the customer, and really understand what drives them. You are going to be in a position to be able to help them in ways that your competitors can't. And that is going to help you win without a doubt. You see, what it comes down to is, oh, I love this. Tim Marvel's jumping in, top performers value integrity more than money. And you're right, because see what they're doing is they're getting into it and understanding what the customer is really looking for. You see, Priya, I'm going to challenge you. Maybe on the golf course, you're spending too much time talking about golf and not enough time talking about their business. And here's something. Here's something for you, Priya. Ask them about who their customers are. Ask them about who their customers are and why their customers like doing business with them. You ask somebody that question, and it's going to be amazing the information that you're going to get because now you can begin to help them. Okay, this is what we got to do to help you not lose those customers. Now you're in a real position of strength.
Yeah, so I love what Osama is saying here is that you have to provide the added value and advantage. That's what differentiates you from others and explains your high price. I think what you need to be asking is how is what I'm doing saving money, making money, or decreasing their stress? And you have to figure out like where you fit into, because we don't all sell products that help people make money. We don't all sell products that help people save money, but it's got to come in there. There's got to be some value to the pain point. So Priya, I think you're in really great position because all this is a matter of really paying attention to, why would they pay you that money, and why would they choose you over the competition? If your price is higher and you can't clearly articulate why that price is higher with confidence, then you've got some work to do.
And that comes back to two things that top performers do well. They know that customers will always pay more for pain than they will for a gain.
Yep.
That's just natural. But two, they swim in the same lane. In other words, they stay in their space. They know the top performer knows who their best customers are. It's a particular industry or maybe two industries. They know that industry very well. They dive deep. So in other words, when they're able to get intel for one customer, it helps them with another customer. When they're gaining insights from one customer, now they're not sharing proprietary information. Nobody's asking you to do that, but it makes them more confident. And that allows them now to put deals across the table. Like you said, they do it confidently. They know exactly how this is going to help you. And what's fascinating is this: top performers have a level of confidence because they know the package they're putting on the table is going to help them achieve a certain outcome, is going to help them do something. That is huge because not only does that help the customer feel confident, but the top performer feels confident. This is how they're able to command a higher fee in the marketplace, a higher price in the marketplace than anyone else.
Yeah, I love what Andy's saying here. When you begin to court a prospect, you never say, hey, let's establish a relationship, then talk about your business. You always say, let's go ahead and understand your business. That leads to a long-term relationship. Andy, such an important point is people will choose you over the competition because you understand them, not because they understand you. And it's probably one of the biggest things that top performers, really understand and really, really dive into.
What I like about that is it's about building the knowledge base, knowledge what's really happening, and then the relationship will come off it. I know some top performers who have zero ability to entertain customers, zero ability to do anything outside of business calls with customers. You know what? They're top performers. Because again, I hear people say, "Well, if I just had more ability on my expense report to be able to take customers to dinner or lunch, et cetera, I know I could get the deal." No, no. Again, top performers don't make an excuse, and top performers don't need those other things. They can just make it happen because they're focused on the customer. And this comes back to what Bryn mentioned right out of the chute. They're focused on helping their customers. If you're not focused on your customer, I'm sorry, all you're trying to do is sell product. And you know what? Product is a commodity, period.
Yeah, I think you're making such a great point. And I think when it comes to that, when it comes to entertaining customers, I think you have to know your customer. Some customers want to be entertained, some don't. Like I just changed a vendor, and a big piece for me was that vendor didn't entertain me at all. We had no social relationship at all. I'm a social animal. It's important to me, and so I think you've got to know your customer. The other thing the top performers do is they get to know their customer very personally. I've talked about this before. That I have a vendor that I've ended up leaving that keeps inviting me to wine tastings. And here's a couple of things around that. Number one, I don't drink. Number two, I can't think of anything more boring personally than to go to a wine tasting. I know people love it. But number three is my vendor's price kept going up, and all I could think of is you're doing these expensive wine tastings, and I'm paying for those expensive wine tastings. So I think you need to know your customer personally. If you're going to send a gift, do something that's personal. If you're going to entertain somebody, figure out whether they want to be entertained, or not. But Mark, God, we are burning time. It's probably
Yeah,
time
it's okay.
for.
Hey, I want to add something to this. You can have a great relationship and not do anything on the entertainment side. You can have a great because again, I know top performers, and I've had those situations where I've had great relationships, deep relationships with customers. I know them personally, I know, but we never do anything outside of the sales call outside the process, and that's okay. It's understanding the customer, how they want to be served, how they want to be satisfied. Terry Brock jumps in. Excellent advice. Yes, we need to know the customer and their problems. This is where AI deep research can help a lot. You're right, and top performers use it because again, you can help understand the entire industry. Hey, you ready for the book?
I am.
The book is by Lisa Magnuson. Yes, it is. Epic Six Contract Wins. Hey, I'll tell you what, she's written several books,
Yeah.
and they're kind of sleepers out there, and you do need to pick them up. What are your thoughts?
I love this book. This is such an easy read, but what Lisa did with this book is it's stories and then example. Like, so it's the story of an epic sales win, the best deal a salesperson ever won. And then she breaks it down as to how that. Lisa is a master at creating at winning the complex sale. I mean, she goes into war rooms with teams, and this is just like a little reference book. You'll learn so many skills from doing this.
Yeah, and she doesn't get the accolades that she deserves for the work that she does. Lightning round. Ready?
I am.
Top 10 ways to coach yourself in sales.
Oh, I love this because I think the best sales coach out there is you. If you want to coach yourself, review your calls and your prospect list like it's game film, like you're an elite athlete and you are looking for what you did right and what you didn't do right.
This means you're using your CRM system. You are keeping it up to date, and you are reviewing it, going back continuously in it.
Yeah, at least every quarter, if you want to coach yourself, try something new and measure whether it worked or whether it didn't.
Write down all of the questions that you ask your customers. That's what you put them into your CRM. And you're looking to see which questions work, which questions don't work, which situations are they best used in. And you learn from past experience to help you going forward.
Yeah, I would say that you need to keep a how would I describe it? Like a loss journal. Like you need to keep track of all the deals you lose and look for the themes in those. What is the reason you're losing and make an adjustment from there.
Find a couple of top performing peers in your industry and outside your industry. Make connections with them, learn from them. You help coach them, they help coach you. It's amazing how, when you surround yourself with others, both inside your industry and outside your industry, it is amazing at how much better you will become.
Yeah, I would say number seven is record some of your sales calls if the prospect you're talking to doesn't mind. If not, get a peer to role play with you, record it, and then listen back and listen to what you did well, what you didn't do well, and look for a place to improve it.
Number eight, it's all about your mindset. Don't allow, if you're having some problems, allow your mindset to go into the funk, routine. No, no. You have to stay positive. You coach yourself from a position of strength, looking at your successes and building from there.
Yeah, number nine, track your leading indicators. Like, don't just track what the company asks you to track, because far too often companies treat tracking like a scoreboard. And I said this before. What tracking is intel. And so track your information, track your leading indicators, and learn from it.
10, set aside time every week to be reading. And of course, listening to podcasts, Sales Logic Podcast, because again, you learn from hearing from other experts. Hey, with that, we want to say thank you for listening to Sales Logic this week. If you like what you hear, subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast app. Something we've said has earned you a single dollar. Consider telling a friend about our show, because it's how we grow when we help you grow. I'm Mark Hunter.
And I'm Meredith Elliott Powell.
Remember, when you sell with confidence and integrity,
all of this uncertainty suddenly becomes your competitive advantage.
And the sale becomes logical.
All right. We'll see you right back here next week for another episode of Sales Logic. Again, thank you for everybody who chimed in today. Really great information. And now go make a sales call, go close a deal, and we'll see you next Saturday.